guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you. Yesterday I did a video about what I learned from Swedish women. Some people thought that the title didn't work or the picture didn't work, or they didn't like that I was talking about my own personal experience. Some people said it was clickbaity. Really was not my intention. I'm just trying to make videos and content that people would like to watch. But again, I'm sorry to you guys if that's what you thought. I just thought I would go ahead and make the video that you guys wanted then. And I'm going to do a video here on dating in Sweden, or we'll do this, relationships in Sweden versus the United States. And I picked 4 key differences that I'm going to go over. This first one has to do with how people meet in Sweden. And it was one thing that really struck me when I first came to Sweden, is that I'm just amazed on how dates and how relationships start in general, because I just feel like it's not as common for like a guy to just go up and ask a girl out. And I'll give you an example. When you go to a club in the United States or a bar, you usually go with your friends to go out and have a good time with your friends, but also to meet other people. It has been my experience in Sweden, and that was one of the hard cultural differences, is that if people are in their group and they go out to party with their friends, like that's a whole experience. They're going out with their friends in this group, then they're gonna go to like an after party with the same group. So whereas people in the United States would go out to bars to meet other people, not so much typically in Sweden. Yeah, it still happens, but I think a lot of times relationships in Sweden, you typically have to actually know the person, or you have a friend of a friend. I think a lot of people actually date. That's how it starts. Although I think online dating has really taken off here in Sweden. I think that it just works well with people that are Swedish, like their personality, since they are a little bit more reserved. I think that it's a good route and a place to go. You can still meet someone and talk to them during that time, but I just always find it to be interesting to me how you guys meet, because just don't see dating in the same way here in Sweden as I see in the United States, or just asking someone out. It seems like, I feel like in Sweden people just start hanging out, and then the next thing I know, they're boyfriend and girlfriend, or boyfriend and boyfriend, or girlfriend and girlfriend, whatever floats your boat. So moving forward here, the next one I want to talk about though, number 2, is going to be marriage is less common, and I kind of want to talk about this whole sambo rule here, because in Sweden you have what's called a sambo. A sambo is basically your legal partner when you live together. And in the United States, you're always trying to get married together, and there's a big time before gay marriage was legal in the United States. They had like partnership agreements, but gay couples, for example, couldn't have the same rights, or maybe visit someone in the hospital, their boyfriend or girlfriend in the hospital. So in Sweden we have the sambo rule, and it's less common for people to get married. I've met couples here in Sweden that have been together 15, 20 years, have children together, and just never get married. And just off of me, I have a sambo now, and I think about it in the future, of course, but like it's not so dead set here as it is in other countries and cultures, which I think is a good thing overall, because I think that like divorce costs a lot of money, or skilsmässa say, as they say in Sweden. So I think it's a good idea actually, and I just think it's the way society's working in general. But I do think in the United States, if you're dating someone, boyfriend and girlfriend, and even if you're living together, you don't have the same kind of legal agreements that you have as you would have as the sambo agreement. So I think the sambo one is a fantastic thing we have here in Sweden. Number 3, going Dutch. If you're gonna live in Sweden long enough and get paid a Swedish salary, you're gonna be going Dutch. But one thing I like to always done is, I just kind of feel, this is of course me being American, but if I ask a girl out on a date or something like that, I would like to offer to pay, at least for the first date, just because that's where it comes from in my culture. I didn't really feel that anybody that I dated was like put off by that. I would still say go ahead and do that if that's what you want to do. But in Sweden it's much more common to go Dutch. It just makes sense. It's an expensive country to live. That being said though, I don't think a girl's going to be disappointed if you offer to pay someone. Either way, it doesn't matter how the rules are. If you ask someone out to spend time with, if you're interested in them, and you offer to pay for something, they're not going to go for that reason, but it's just a nice little gesture. But yeah, so that's one that you have to do. It's much more common, especially with my girlfriend and I. We split the costs of just everything. It's easy to do with Squish. Doesn't mean that we still don't pay for things and do nice things for each other, but it's just that way. And I will say, I prefer the American method of like offering to pay. But on another end, I kind of like it being here long enough, because like I also know that I'm not going to date someone that's just going to go out with me for a free meal. Although, I mean, I would still pay for the free meal. I just mean, you know, maybe some people would think that way. They go, oh yeah, well I don't like this person, but at least I'll go out and get a meal or something like that. So I wanted to go and talk about that. And then finally, the last one I have on my list here on my phone is relationships get lost in translation. Now, and it had been in my experience that I just feel the definitions of relationships are different. So I feel like people think if you're like, always with me, the confusion came with relationships as far as like, where are we headed? Where are we going? And I feel like boyfriend, girlfriend doesn't hit me so hard in the United States, but I felt like it was quite serious here. Or just trying to define what relationships are or where you're going. That was probably the biggest one that I had when I first came to Sweden. It's like, maybe I wanted to date someone, but I didn't want it to be like super serious. I just wanted us to be like, you know, only dating each other. But to another person, that might be like a super serious thing where I didn't necessarily see it that way. So I just think that's the one thing I noticed with relationships too, is sometimes things just get lost in translation. So it's like important if you're dating someone or whatever, that you take the time to talk about that kind of stuff. Don't stress about it or whatever, but just like take the time to talk about it. So those are the 4 things I saw. Again, like, I apologize if anybody was annoyed or whatever. It's not my intention. I can't go back and change the past. So all I'm going to do is upload a new video. If you guys like that one, go ahead and smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hej då!